All right, today we're jumping into a topic that can literally make or break a fortune in Nigerian real estate, and that's customary land. Now, if you get this right, you could be looking at a gold mine. But if you get it wrong, you could lose everything. So if you're an investor, this is one explainer you really can't afford to skip.
Okay, picture this. You found what looks like the perfect piece of land. The price is just incredible, the location is spot on. But here's the big question. Is it a gold mine just waiting for you to develop it? Or is it a legal landmine that's about to explode in your face? With customary land, that is the multi-million naira question.
So let's get right into the thick of it, the investor's landmine. This is exactly where so many well-meaning investors, people with good intentions, can lose it all. And it's usually because they just don't understand the hidden risks that come with customary land.
So what's the #1 most common mistake investors make? It's right here. They treat customary land like any other simple property transaction. But it's not a simple freehold deal. You can't just apply a Western mindset to this unique system. That is a recipe for absolute financial disaster.
Okay, so to avoid that disaster, you have to ask the most fundamental question of all. Who really owns this land? The answer, you'll find, lies in a principle called communal ownership. And honestly, understanding this one concept is the key to everything else.
Let's break this down, because it's super important. Think of communal ownership kind of like a big company. The land is the company's main asset, right? And all the family or community members, they are the shareholders. Now, no single shareholder, not even the CEO, can just wake up one day and decide to sell off the company's biggest asset without getting approval. It's the same idea here. The land belongs to everyone, together.
And that brings us to the role of the family head, or the chief. It is absolutely crucial to understand that they are a custodian. Think of them as a trustee or a manager. They are not the owner. Going back to our company analogy, they're like the managing director. Their job is to look after the asset on behalf of all the other shareholders. And what that means is they have zero right to sell it by themselves.
And look, this isn't just some vague, unwritten rule. This is cemented in Nigerian law. Way back in 1921, a landmark case, Amadu Tijani versus the Secretary of Southern Nigeria, established this very principle. That legal precedent is still the bedrock of customary land law today.
So you're probably thinking, if the land is owned by everyone, does that mean I can never actually get secure individual ownership? Well, no, not at all. There is a very clear legal path to convert that communal land into a privately owned asset. Let's dig into how that actually works.
The key legal process you need to know is called partition. This is how communal land gets formally, legally divided up among its members. As soon as a partition happens, that collective ownership is over. And at that point, individuals are granted full, transferable rights to their own specific plots of land.
This chart really lays it all out. On the left side, you've got family land. It's held in trust. You need consent from the whole group to sell. And for an investor, it's pretty high risk. But then, on the right, you have partitioned land. You get absolute individual ownership. You alone have the right to sell, and it's highly secure. As an investor, your goal is always to be on the right side of this table.
So, how do you get to that safe, secure side? Well, this brings us to the most practical, nuts and bolts part of our explainer, your due diligence checklist. If you follow these steps, you'll be able to navigate this system like a seasoned pro.
Okay, step 1, determine the land's nature. First things first, you have to know what kind of ownership you're even dealing with. Step 2, verify the custodians. You must be talking to the correct family heads, not just some charismatic cousin who says he's in charge. Step 3, document consent. A handshake or a verbal promise means nothing here. You need written proof from all the key family members. 4, hire professionals. Seriously, this is not the place to try and save a few bucks. A great lawyer and surveyor are the best insurance you can buy. And finally, step 5, register the title. This is the last step that puts your ownership under the full protection of statutory law.
And let me be absolutely crystal clear about this. Skipping any one of these steps is not some clever shortcut. It is a direct, one-way ticket to incredibly expensive, time-wasting, and potentially ruinous legal battles. Period. All right, let's start to wrap things up by really focusing on how to invest safely and successfully. What are the big takeaways you need to have locked in your mind? Here are your core strategies, your non-negotiables. First, conduct title searches at both the local and state land registries. Second, talk to people in the community. Corroborate every claim you hear. Third, and this is critical, ensure you get statutory registration for all transactions.
And finally, understand and respect any ongoing obligations you might have to the community. This could be contributing to local projects or just respecting certain traditions. These are often the unwritten rules, but believe me, they are incredibly important for having a good, smooth relationship.
So, you see, the most important point is this. Success in this market is not about trying to find clever loopholes or tricky shortcuts. It is all about doing the hard work through diligent, respectful engagement with the system exactly as it is.
And that leaves us with one final question for you. Your next investment. Is it going to be a valuable asset, or is it going to be a future lawsuit? Because as we've just seen, the difference between the two really just comes down to your due diligence. Think about it.